Good morning, everyone. Thank you for sticking around or coming early if you're a late servicer. We're going to get started in just maybe 1 minute. So we'll give everybody, Rudiger's going to go round them up, anybody outside, so we'll give it 1 more minute. All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. Again, thank you for sticking around. Again, thank you if you came early for the next service. I appreciate that too. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk a little bit more about giving in general and then specifically the online giving options we have here. And then we're going to leave some time at the end if you want some help with getting that set up. We have some handouts that I'm going to have some distributed once I talk a little bit. So let's go ahead and pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this time that we can come together and discuss your church and our role in it. We just pray that you would bless our conversation, open our hearts and minds to receive what you would want us to get out of this. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. Okay, so like I said, that we do have some handouts, but I'm going to talk just a little bit first about giving in general. I know Brian talked about tithing, in detail last week. So we're not going to talk too much about tithing and what that means, just that we're called to do it, right? Let's see. So Brian had a disclaimer last week, I think. So I'll give one too. What I say up here is my opinion, and so if you have any issues with that, please come directly to Brian Ilton, okay? No. Yeah, no. That's right. We hit him next week. So nothing too controversial today. We're just going to walk through our online giving options. And just to start, today's topic, Mike preached on it, was faith, and specifically faith in giving and the idea that God will provide. Because God has given us everything, right? He's given me everything. In spite of me, He gives me everything, and He gives you everything. In spite of the words that come out of my mouth or the way I act or what's in my brain or what I'm thinking, God is good, and He truly, by His grace and mercy, has given us all that we need. So for that reason, we're called to be generous with our giving. Jesus was the most generous person who ever lived, right? He gave up the comforts of heaven and came down, took on human flesh, and ultimately died for our sins. So because of that, because of His generosity, we need to respond with our own generosity, especially around our giving. Trust God to provide. It's not always easy, especially nowadays. Money can be tight. Things are expensive. So it's not always easy, but we need to get past that. We need to get into our heart the idea that no matter what we're going through, no matter what we're facing, and particularly financially, that God will provide. We're called to be generous with our time, of course, and our talents, but we're also called to be generous with our money so I'm hoping today that this short presentation will help you get there. I know that my family, we started online giving years and years ago, and I know Brian talked last week about being a cheerful giver. It truly is, if you're not thinking about it every Sunday, you can truly be cheerful when you come to church. I know that if I was still writing checks or giving in that manner, I know that there's been some things in my life that have happened in the last year that I'm sad to say that it might have made me think a little bit about writing that check. I mean, we have a dog going through cancer treatments right now. That's not cheap, right? So if I was still writing those checks, knowing that, it might have made me think a little bit each Sunday. But the thing I like about online giving is it truly is something you can set and forget. I know Pastor Dan used to always say, set it and forget it. He had one of those ovens that he called it the set it and forget it machine from TV, and he loved it, but he couldn't remember the name of it, so he just called it the set it and forget it machine. So it truly is something you can set up, and if you choose, not think about for one more second, right? So the goal today is we're just going to walk through. I'm getting ready to have some handouts passed around. We're getting ready to walk through specifically how you can use online giving here at Christ Lutheran. So if I could ask my lovely assistants to stand up and pass those. I made 40 copies. So if you could do like one, you could do like one per family, hopefully. Otherwise, we can make more. It's like 16 pages, 8 pages front and back. So I didn't want to make 100 copies and then waste them. So while they're handing those out, so a couple of things that come to mind when you talk about online giving for people is one of them is the passing of the plate during church, where some people, and I was like this a little bit at the beginning, feel a little bit weird when the plate passes you by and you just kind of slide it on by. It was like that initially. Didn't take long to get over that, though. And I know that a lot of you are online givers already. So there really, I don't think there needs to be any kind of I don't think anybody's going to look at you differently. At least I would hope they wouldn't look at you differently. But in the end, it doesn't really matter, right? It doesn't really matter. This is something between you and God, and it doesn't really matter if somebody looks at you a little funny if you either go like this, if you're the only one in your row, or you just pass it on by. Let's see. So I think everybody's got the handout. So based on the handouts, did you guys have enough? Aaron, did you guys have enough? Okay. So the handout itself, I put this together myself, and so there's basically two ways to set up and manage your online giving here. You can do it through the mobile app on your phone, or you can do it through the church website. And of course, let's see. So we're going to talk about the mobile app first. What I want to do is I want to walk through this. If you have questions as we go along, please don't hesitate to shout them out. But we are going to walk through this in detail. I'm not going to read every word on here because I think it's pretty easy to follow. But ask your questions if you need to, if you have them. And then once we get through these, then we're just going to take some time. If you want to get things set up today, I would say if you're at all thinking about it, do it today. We have help. I'm here to help. And Tim Young and Christian, our tech guys, Tim's got laptops out front that they would be happy to help you get it set up, get your account created and all that kind of stuff. So if there's no questions up front, yeah.
Last week someone mentioned that there was a surcharge for one of the methods.
Yeah, so I'm going to talk about that specifically when we get. Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit too. Okay. So any other questions before we move through this? If you already are online giving, this should be nothing new to you. But I would hope that if you're here and you already do the online giving part, if there's somebody sitting near you or somebody you know in your life that might benefit from this, maybe you could help them too. So, 2 ways to give: the mobile app and the website. The mobile app is called Vanco Mobile Faith Engagement. I wrote it down right there. The icon is right underneath the title of the app. That's what the icon looks like. You can go to your whatever phone provider or whatever phone type you have, whether the iPhone, the App Store, or I don't know, what's the Google one called? Google Play Store? Google Play. So you can see on the screen there, you can get, it's really easy to download. If you search for Evanco Mobile, you'll find it. Just look for that icon. Once you get the app downloaded, just going through the handout here, you need to be able to find our church. So when you first launch it, you're going to get this welcome screen, and right in the center it says Find My Church. So you're just going to click that, and if you type in Christ Lutheran Berea, don't just do Christ Lutheran. There's a lot of Christ Lutherans in the country, right? Christ Lutheran Berea, it should find one, 820 West Imperial Highway. You can verify that you have the right one based on the address. So once you select Christ Lutheran Church in Berea, you're going to go back to the main screen, and now it's going to say Christ Lutheran Church Welcome, right? And you're going to see a picture of the front of our church on the app itself. The first thing you're going to want to do is set up an account. You can actually go through and give without setting up an account. From the very front page, you can push the give offerings, and you can go through the whole process, but it will make you put in your funding source, your address, or not your address, your name, your email. It'll make you put all that stuff in every time. So the best thing to do is actually set up an account. So there's a sign up button on the front page, and this is, if you've ever filled out anything online before, it's the same kind of thing. Sign up button, you're going to put in your first name, last name, your email address is very important. That's what it's going to use as your account name. And then it'll ask you to set up a password. And then once you do that, it's going to want to verify your account, your email address. So it's going to send you an email to the address that you set up. And it's going to give you a code. It's going to give you like a 6-digit code. You'll need to go to your email, find that code, and type it in at this screen. And it's just making sure you are who you are, right? You actually have access to that. And that's all you got to do. Once you put that code in, it should take you back to the main screen, to the home screen. From there, you're going to need to log in with that same account you just created and the password you created. You're just going to log in, and now you're going to be into our church, into your account, okay? So that page 3 basically just talks to you about how putting your password in and say next, and you get right in. There is a box on there when you put your password in that says remember this account. If you're on your phone or on your home computer, I would say, have it remember the account. Then it'll always populate that for you. If you happen to be out and about someplace, I wouldn't have it remember your account, but most of the time you're going to be doing this from your app or from your desktop. So have it remember your account, and the next time you come in, it will automatically log you in. And it will do that for a certain amount of time, a certain number of days. Every once in a while, it's going to ask you to log in again just to make sure you're still you. All right, so the first thing you do, once you get into your account, the first thing you need to do is set up a funding source, how you're going to fund your giving. On the app itself, this is on page 4. If you click there's a little, in the upper left-hand corner. Yeah, Rude.
Can we put your account number in there for how to fund?
Yes, I'll give all that information to you at the end. Up in the top left-hand corner of that, once you're logged in, is 3 little lines. I don't know what you call those. I think they technically have a name, but it's the top left-hand corner. You know what it's called?
The hamburger menu.
The hamburger menu. It looks like a hamburger being made, right? If you click that, it's going to take you into your My Account information, and part of that is, man, I can't read that. Oh, so it identifies the church that you have identified. There's some links for giving. So the most important one here, once you get in there, is you're going to click on the My Account button that's at the top. And it's going to take you into a place where you could change your password if you wanted to, or you could see your history, you could see what you have scheduled to give, but for these purposes, at the very bottom, there's an Add New Payment Method. And you can see I already added a payment method. I think this is from Sharon's account, but so you got the last 4 if you can figure out the first 10 or whatever it is. But we want to set up a new payment method. And so from there, you want to add a payment method, and there's two options for payment methods. It's a credit card, and there's your bank account. Okay? So If you want to do your giving through a credit card, I know nowadays there's lots of credit cards with reward points and those kinds of things. Please only set that up if you pay that thing off every month. Don't go into debt giving to church, okay? If you're going to set up a credit card, please pay that off every month. Because I know we put a lot of stuff on credit cards because we have a really good rewards card. So if you're going to do a credit card, it will ask you to fill your credit card information in, the number and the expiration and all that kind of stuff, your zip code. And then, I can't remember. Yeah, once you fill everything in on the credit card, you're going to click Save, and now you have a giving method of a credit card. The next slide there talks about adding a bank account. This is what I would recommend, is adding a bank account. This is what we do. You can add, if you have a blank check, your account number and your routing number for your bank is on there. You can just enter that information, and now you have a direct link to your bank account, which all your giving will come directly from the account. That's what I would recommend. And as we get a little bit later when we talk about setting it up, I'll talk more about why I think that's important. But those are the two ways you're going to add a funding source for your online giving. And once you add these, if you go to the bottom of that My Account page, you'll see every funding source that you've ever added. You'll see them down there. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to talk about that when we get through to actually setting it up. Yeah, because that's definitely a consideration, right? So in the upper left-hand corner of that My Account page, there's a little back arrow. That's going to take you back to the main screen, the main Christ Lutheran welcome, Christ Lutheran Church welcome. This happens to say Sharon because it was her account. All right? So now you're back at the main screen. You've set up a funding source. And now we want to talk about how to set up an actual giving, right? There's two types of giving. There's just a one-time gift, and there's recurring giving, all right? So just to set up and you set them up almost exactly the same, but in the middle there, you're gonna choose a few more choices in the middle if you want to do recurring. But for just a one-time gift, you're going to click View All Giving Options, and it's going to take you to that next screen. Then we're on top of page 5, that next screen, and basically it gives you a chance to say how much, what section, what part of the church you want to give your money to, and it's going to say one-time gift right there. So here you would just enter a dollar amount, and then in that little pull down next to it, this one says Men of Christ. We have a whole list of I don't know what you even call them, areas to give at Christ Lutheran. If you turn it over to the last page. What's that? Oh, yes. If you turn it over to the last page, I think you should be able to just flip it over. Of the whole thing. There's some extra information there. At the bottom there, it says, or at the top actually, it says current giving categories. There you can see it's quite a good sized list. The ones that have a little double star next to them, those are the ones that are always available. The other ones are seasonal. They're Lent and Easter, they're Advent and Christmas, those kinds of things. And those will show up in your list as we get to those seasons, okay? So, but the ones you see with a little double star, Christian Ed, Building Fund, General Offering, Food Pantry, those are always available, and those are how you're going to designate the gift, the one-time gift that you're setting up. Yeah. Yeah, so if you choose other, it means you want to give to something very specific, like a memorial gift or something like that. You could say other, and it'll give you a chance. It'll pop up another little line that gives you a chance to type in what the other is, right? So if there's some other area of church that we haven't set up a specific category for, yeah, you would use other. Okay, so now at this point, we're at the top of page 5 again. You're going to enter your dollar amount. You're going to use that pull down to decide where your gift is going. When you get back, once you choose your gift, as soon as you click that, it'll pop up a list. And once you pick one, now we're back at, in this case, it says $5 to Men of Christ. And right below it, there's a little Make Recurring Gift. For a one-time gift, you're going to leave that blank. You're not going to check that gift. So underneath it should say Once Today. And then at the bottom, you're going to click Continue. And then actually, it's kind of out of order here. You can see where it says general offering, that slide, that's actually what pops up when you decide where you're going to give your gift to, right? So bottom left, it kind of gives you a summary. It says total of $5. Let's see, did I miss something? Men of Christ. And now we got to select a payment method. The little pull down says payment method. As soon as you select that, then it's going to pop up a little window that says, okay, which of your accounts that you've set up before do you want to give from? So in this case, there's only one set up. It happens to be our bank account. And it shows you the last 4 digits of your bank account so you can make sure if you put a credit card, it'll show you the last 4 so you can make sure you identify the account you're going to give from. So once you select that account, now we're on page 6. Now you go back to a summary of the transaction. Haven't submitted it yet, but you have a summary. It says total of $5, and you see mine says $5.02. If you give from a bank account, there's fees associated with this giving. Like Jack brought up the credit card part of it, and we'll talk about that too. There's fees associated with the giving. As a part of your, on that summary page, there's a part that says cover processing fees. The processing fee on a bank transfer is 0.5%. That's why you see it says, because I checked on the little box that says cover the fees, I'm going to give $5.02 instead of, so the church is going to get their $5. If I didn't check that box, the church is going to get $4.98 because the church then pays all those fees, right? So we do that. We check that box on, and I would ask that if you can, check that box on too. If you want to give with a credit card, the fee that we charge, or that our provider charges, is 2.75%. So if you choose a credit card there, we would ask that you check that box on, and somebody quickly in their head, what is 2.75% of $5? Wow, that was pretty quick. That was a lot of 14 cents. Oh, is it? Okay. Oh, okay. Okay.
I think it's important to point out that it's not just, Banco Mobile that charges that fee. I mean, that's just a general fee, and there really isn't any way around that unless somehow we spend a ton of money and set up our own credit card and all that other stuff.
Yeah, that's a standard credit card processing fee. Any store you use a credit card at, they're going to pay that fee, right? So we just have the opportunity to say, yeah, I can give that extra 14 cents. Obviously, as the numbers get bigger, that fee gets bigger. But yeah, it is that there's a little box there that for a credit card will say 2.75, and we would just ask that if you can cover that, please do. Yeah.
That 14 cents would be if you pay for it, if we pay for it, it's a write-off on our part.
Yeah.
If we don't, it's lost.
Yeah. Yeah, that whole amount is going to be a write-off, and you're going to get, at the end of the year, what happens is as these transactions get processed, they get entered into our system. Joy gets a report. I think every week you get a report, Joy, about the giving, and it gets entered into our system, so you're going to get a nice report at the end of the year like you do now. You're going to get that same nice report that has all this giving on it, okay? So once you have all that identified, you're going to click Continue to Summary. You're going to get one last chance to look at the entire transaction, what you're going to give, where you're giving it to. Once you click Submit, now it's going to be processed. You should get, and what it does when it actually processes it, it jumps out of the app and goes to the Vanco mobile website to process the transaction. And then when you're done, it brings you back into the app. You're going to get a thank you there. And in this case, because it's a one-time gift, you're going to get an email receipt for that transaction, and it looks like what I've laid out there. Okay. So if you go through it a few times, not too difficult to set up. There's not that many steps involved, and if you've done anything online, it's going to look really familiar to you. Okay. So that's a one-time gift. Any questions on that before we move on to the next section? Okay. Top of the next page, now we're going to talk about a recurring gift. You're going to process it the exact same way. So we'll go through this a little bit quicker. From the home page, you're going to click on that View All Giving Options. You're going to see the next page. You're going to put the dollar amount in. You're going to put in the designated fund that you want to give to. In this case, I chose Men of Christ again. And then once you click that pull down, you're going to get your list of options. Once you choose that list of options, you're going to go back to the screen in the bottom left of your handout, and it says you're going to slide on that little slider that says make this a recurring gift. Okay? And when you do that, there's one more field that you need to pick, and it's how often you want that to reoccur. I don't know how to say that. So if you choose right below that, make recurring gift, that little pull down, you're going to get three options. You can say every week, you can say every 2 weeks, or you can say monthly. Those are the only three options that you get. Okay, weekly, bi-weekly. Is that bi-weekly when you give it twice? Or every month. Okay. So once you choose that, select your frequency, move on to the next page. You then need to tell it when you want to start. So if you're setting it up for your recurring giving to just start, you can choose any day of the week. We picked Monday. I don't remember why I picked Monday for that, but you can choose any day of the week for it to start, and then based on the frequency, it will process it that every day, the same day over that frequency. Okay. Doing it on a Mondays, I'm not even sure which basket it goes into, if it goes into the previous Sunday or it goes into the next Sunday. I have no idea. It doesn't really matter to me. The most important thing is that it actually processes it, right? So you select the day you want to start it on. You click select payment method. You're going to pick your payment method just like you did before. Pick my bank account. You're going to get a summary. You're going to get an opportunity to pay the fees. Again, a bank account transfer is 0.5%. A credit card is 2.75%. Either way, you're going to get an opportunity to pay those fees if you'd like. You're going to click Continue Summary, and then you're going to get back to that page, and you're going to get one last opportunity to review your transaction, and then you're going to click the Submit button, and you're going to get the same success, a thank you. And in this case, you will not get an email each time. You're not going to get an email each time, but you are going to have a record of that. You're going to get that at the end of the year. You're going to get that as a part of your giving statement here at Christ Lutheran. Okay? So those are the two ways you can give, one time or recurring. Any questions on those? Yeah, Barb.
Can you do multiples then in one transaction, your general and then maybe CDS?
Yeah, if you look close in those screens as you're picking your information, there's a little button that says Add Gift. I think it says Add Gift. I can't read that. But yeah, you could do multiples. You could say, I give to general, I give to the food pantry every week. Yeah, set them all up in one transaction. Yeah. Any other questions? Carrie.
I was just going to point out that you can also, if you have the My Church app, it'll take you to the online website page.
Okay. Yeah, right here. Go ahead.
There's another way you can do it that's very beneficial for all, and that is if you have an investment firm where you have an IRA, Roth IRA in particular, the investment firm, I have Charles Schwab, there's others that do the same thing. You can designate to them for 501c3, which is what
Mm-hmm.
Church is. You can designate, they send a check from your Roth IRA every month or whenever, however you want to set it up, to the church, and it's no taxes paid on it.
Right.
Taking that out of paying any income taxes on that money.
Yeah, that's a great way. And I will tell you for next week's topic at this time, that's exactly what we're going to talk about. Rob Burns is going to be here to talk about all that estate stuff and how you can do exactly that, how you can set it up. Because that's a great way to do it. Absolutely. So Rob's going to talk next week at this time. Rob's going to talk about that. Jane.
I understand from what Brian said, only the general fund goes to the budget. All this other stuff is extra.
Yes. Yeah. So the general fund giving, that's the budgeted amount on our budget, whatever it was this year, $1,000,000 something, $1,200,000 or whatever it was, right, Rude? Yeah, that is the general giving. So if you choose general offering on here, that's what goes to pay the standard budgeted items. Everything else in there is a designated gift. So if it's food pantry, if it's Men of Christ, if it's anything else that you have a choice on there, that goes into that specific bucket. Yeah, Barb.
Is it time to ask about Zelle opportunity?
Yeah. So.
Church has an email address, ideally the bank could set up that Zelle account.
Yeah, so there's actually other options other than our giving site, other than Vanco. You can, through your bank, Bank of America uses Zelle. There's probably others that use Zelle, right? You can set up through that. You can set up and have your bank send a check directly from your account, right?
Christ Lutheran has to have an account to receive it. So do they have a Zelle account?
I'm not totally sure, but I will definitely make a note and.
Not by check. If you set it up with your bank to issue a check
Oh yeah, that's.
basis, they don't, it's just a regular check.
Yeah, that's two. Actually, yeah, you're right. That's two different things. The Zelle, yes, it would be a Zelle to Zelle account. Yeah, if you. So I'll ask about the Zelle to see if that's if we have that account that you could set up. But what I was referring to and what Rude's referring to is, you could, if you want to, you can have your bank at whatever frequency send a check to the church directly to the church for whatever giving. You could have them do that too. There's a little bit of a lag there, but again, it doesn't really matter if it's recurring. When it gets here, right?
On Zelle, if you are for Bank of America, your Zelle account is tied to your checking or savings account. If you're not with Bank of America, your Zelle is tied to your debit card, and you cannot give to a business with a debit card. Now, I don't know if the church would be designated as a business, so that's something you
Okay.
need to clarify.
Yeah, we'll do some research into that. Yeah. Any other questions before we move on? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. So that's giving on the app from your phone, right? The next thing, other way to give is through the Christ Lutheran website, which is what Christian has up on the screen right now. Okay. If you go to christbread.org and up in the right-hand corner, there's a offering a giving link. You click that, and it will take you right into our giving site. If you scroll down from there, you're going to get to where it says online or Christ Giving on desktop. The most important thing to remember is it's the same account. If you signed up on the app with the account, it's the same account on the website. Same username, same password. It's the same account. So this is where I go if I want to just look at my giving and make sure it's all going through. I usually go to the website and do that. So we talked about here setting up an account. If you already set up, like on the app, if you already set the account up, you don't need to do any of the new account setup. It's the same account. But I did put that in here to go through because it looks a little bit different, but not too much. So we're not going to talk too much about the account. Just know that they're the same. Okay? Yeah.
I know a long time ago there was online giving. I think it was a different company, wasn't it?
Yes. 3 companies.
Transferred our information still?
Yes.
If we had an account back then, would it be the same?
It should be, yes, it should be. Obviously, you're going to have to, if you put in, let's see. Actually, I don't know. It might recognize the email address, and possibly you could say forgot password and recover the password. But yeah, if you were given a long time, I'm trying to think of if that's how because I give in their old system too online. I actually have to look into that too. Okay, so like I said, if you already set the account up, there's a page there for setting it up online because it does look slightly different, but it's the same. So now if you want to give on from the desktop, if you go up, you need to find there's a profile page. So if you click the profile link at the top right of that little giving section, if you logged in properly, this is where you're going to see your transactions and all that kind of stuff. And this is where you'd also be able to set up a funding source if you've not set it up already online. You can set up a funding source here. In the left column there's one called Payment Methods. If you click that, we're on page 11 right now. If you click that, it's just going to take you to a page. It will show you your current payment methods, and it'll give you a chance to save one there. It actually says to add a payment method by saving it when you submit a transaction. So you actually can't add it right here. When you create a transaction, it'll give you a chance to save your information if you haven't already. So it'll add it to your giving options. So actually, in order to actually give, you're going to click that upper left, the View Giving Opportunities. It'll take you back to the main page. And from that main page, you need to select the account you're going to give to, whether it's general or building fund. You can see a list of some of them. It's just a pull down. You scroll through the accounts. You'll pick that account. You'll type in a dollar amount, and you can see it defaults to one-time gift. So in this case, we're creating a one-time gift on the website. Defaults to one-time gift. You enter your dollar amount, click Give Now, and you should be taken to a payment screen that asks you what funding source that you want to fund. Same thing, two choices, a credit card or a bank account. Once you get that set up properly, if you set up a credit card or a bank account here, if you haven't already set it up, it will ask you if you want to save it into your profile so it can use it again next time. Okay? So once you get that set up, it will, and if you get to the bottom, it'll allow you to save it, and then it's going to take you back to what it calls your basket. This is your cart, and it shows you're going to give general offering, and here it gives you a chance to cover the fees again. Okay, in this case, I guess I chose credit card, so it's going to give $5.14. That's the 2.75% on there, and then. Once you're okay with that, continue to review. It's just going to give you one last opportunity to look at your transaction and then to submit it. Once you submit it, I did have it. You can see that the bottom left on page 13. I did actually have it when I submitted this. It asked me to verify myself. I don't know if you've seen these before online. It actually asked me to pick out all the buses from this. I know. It gives you lots of chances, though, for some reasons. Yeah, so it won't ask you that every time, but in this case, I don't think it asks you that every time, but I know it's frustrating, but I picked out the buses successfully on the first try. Once I click verify, then it takes me, it'll give you once you click verify, then it will give you a confirmation that your transaction was successful, and you will also get an email, just like before, you'll get an email of that transaction. So that's one-time gift, basically the same as on the app. Any questions on that? All right, the recurring gift, same thing. You're going to process it the same way, except you are going to choose, when it gets down to the frequency, if you enter your number and you pick general offering, you enter your $5, I'm on page 14. You click recurring, you're going to get that box below that says select your frequency. You're going to select 1 week, 2 weeks, or every month. And then it's going to ask you to decide when you want to start. Okay? Once you get that information in, click the Give Now button, and it will take you to a payment method where you can choose your credit card or your bank account. Hopefully they're already in there, so you can just pick one. There's a little checkbox that you have to say if you're going to use a checking account or you're going to use a bank account transfer. You have to check the little I accept and acknowledge this payment is subject to NACHA rules. I have no idea what those rules are, but those are just rules that you have to accept for doing this kind of a transfer. Once you click that, you can tell it you want to offset the fees. You can pay the fees. Continue to review, and the same as before. Hopefully you get the. I'm on page 15 now. Hopefully you get the thing the window that says thanks for your support. Okay? That's a recurring gift. You set them up the same way. If you want to go back and verify your transactions, see your scheduled giving, if you go back, this will take you back to the home page once you get the thank you for your support. There's a button to go back to the home page. As soon as you get back there, if you go back into the My Account, those little lines up in the upper left-hand corner, if you go back to My Account, you can look at your scheduled and your giving history, okay? You can see that I scheduled a general offering. I scheduled another. So you can see this is week. Let's see. I scheduled a one-time. No, these are both recurring. Okay. So I set up some recurring gifts here. You can just see it'll just list all the ones that you have. Okay. This is where you're going to go if you decide that you want to increase your giving, or if there's a reason you need to decrease your giving. This is where you're going to go. Okay. If you say edit the recurring giving, it gives you a chance to remove it. There's no way to actually edit a particular giving schedule. For some reason, I don't know why they didn't build an edit into this. What you need to do is you need to remove it and create another one. Okay? I should ask them that, I guess, why they don't have an edit button. I know they must have been thinking about it because Brian on his saw an edit button one time, but it was only there for like a day. So I think they're thinking about it, but if you decide that you want to increase your giving, then you would come in here and you would delete the one and you would set up a new one. Yeah, Joy. Okay, so if you didn't hear that, if you decide you want to change your giving or increase it, you can just call the office, ask for Joy, and she could actually do it for you. But then you'll need a follow-up email from that person. You'll need a follow-up email just to confirm that. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Okay, so there's some things that Joy could actually do for you. Keep track of your credit card expirations. I'm sure you do that anyway, but your bank definitely will do that for you. But there's some things that Joy can do in the office. Just call the main church office. They'll get you right to Joy, and she could help you with edits and those kinds of changes. Okay? And also, as part of this transaction page, you can see your history. So you can go back in there and actually see every time that it processes a recurring gift or a one-time gift. You can see it right there. Okay, so I know I went through kind of fast on that second one. Keep a hold of this handout. And the last page I'm going to show you is, if you look to the back page again, the last section on there at the bottom, its section is called Christ Lutheran Church Tithes. So the church as a whole tithes to some different organizations, okay? And this is a list of the organizations that we tithe. They're every month, Joy? Yeah, so every month we tithe a certain amount of the giving that we give to church. We tithe that as a church to Concordia, Irvine, to Edgewater, to Eli Home, Faith Come by Hearing. That's the list of stuff that we tithe every month with your giving. So some of them are fixed gifts. Some of them are percentages. We actually give a percentage of what of the funds that come in every month. So that's the list of the church's tithes. Okay. Any questions? I know I went kind of fast. Any questions? Yeah, Jane.
What if we prefer writing by check? Will we refuse our payment?
Yes. No, of course not. No, of course not. If that's just that's how you want to do it, absolutely, of course. It's between you and God, right? However you want to give. We're just trying to give people options of being consistent. You're consistent. I know you're consistent every week, right? So, but we're just trying to give people options. You can't get any more consistent than setting something up and then not thinking about it anymore, okay? So being consistent with your giving helps the church. It helps us with our budgeting, okay? It helps us with our forecasting and our planning, okay? So that's what the goal of this is, just to give you another option to be able to give and whatever schedule you want and just be consistent with your giving. Mike, you have something?
I do. Just to prove that I was listening, I'd like to thank Sharon for giving to the Men of Christ.
Yeah, I got to go change those. I'm going to go back and change them. No. I was practicing. Yes, I spent a little bit of money putting this together. So, but I'm happy to do it. So, any other questions? Okay, so now I know I talked longer than I said I was going to. So now, Tim Young and probably Christian now are out front. If you've ever thought about setting up online giving and you would like some help, today's the day. Okay? It really only takes a few minutes if you really want to set it up. If you don't want to set it up today, you want to pray about it, take this handout. And what I should have done was I should have put my contact information on there. I think I'm gonna send out this handout to the congregation, a congregation email, and in there I will put my contact information. I would be happy to help you set it up. I don't have to go through your books, and I can help you without being directly involved with putting in your number. So I know, we can get it done. But if you've ever thought about doing it and you want to just try it, go out front. Come up to me right now, or go out front and talk to Tim and Christian. There's laptops set up out there. They're logged in. It only takes a few minutes. Okay? Any other questions? Yeah, Ruth.
Just a comment. I was always used to writing a check, and then I learned how to give online, and it's very easy, but I don't do it so that it does it automatically every month, because I pay all my bills online every month.
Mm-hmm.
So it gives me the same satisfaction that I got from writing a check, because I manually go in and select to give.
Yeah.
And I make it easier because I give for the whole month rather than weekly, which I don't know why I ever did that, but it makes it, I still get the same feeling of connection to giving to the church, because I'm physically doing it and it's not just automatic.
Mm-hmm.
That I don't have to think about it. And then if my situation changes and I come to more money, I can go, oh, I got more money to give.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or whatever. So I encourage people, don't say, oh, I like to write my check because it feels so personal to me. Well, using the online giving can give you the same.
Yeah. Yeah, and we'll also, if you look at that list of different designated categories, when it comes to, things like different church season, Advents and Lents and Christmas and those kinds of things, all those are on there too. So on those nights, you could set up a recurring gift for Advent. Starts here, stops there, or you can go in there like we actually do. Is I go in there every Wednesday or every and give like that. So there's all kinds of options like that. If you have any questions, you want to set it up, like I said, head outside, come talk to me. I just want to thank you guys for hanging out today. Thank you for spending some time, and I hope this was helpful. All right, let's close in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we just thank you for this time we could spend together and talk about giving. I know it's not always the easiest thing to talk about, but we just thank you that you give us these abilities and these options, that we can use them if we choose. Pray that you would bless us if we're going home, bless us if we're going into church. Just be with us the rest of the day.